Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing well. There's only a few days left to where you can craft a relic at a cheaper price. Personally, I'm going for 2 foons. I already got everything ready, everything set up. And even though these are not the best, I prefer the mastodons, but the mastodons are harder for me to aim. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over all the relics. This is kind of like a tier list, but I'm not gonna use like the whole list. But I can give you guys my top 10 picks, going from top to bottom, the top being the most effective and probably the best, and the bottom one I would say less effective, because all relics right now are pretty dang strong, man. They're all really strong, but some are less effective than others. Oh yeah, we have a destroyer. I forgot about that one. That one is trash in my opinion. So for me, starting at the top, the strongest one in my opinion, the one I would actually want right now, are the mastodons. The mastodons heat up the targets, deal crazy amount of damage combined with the photon cannon. You can use the mastos on a fast build, or you can use it on a heavy beefy bunkered leg build. They hit incredibly hard. Next up on the list for me would be the scorpions. A lot of people, including me, are using the scorpions in combination with the Nox cabin. Makes them feel a little bit more satisfying to use. A lot of people are not using scorpions anymore. They're using charons because I think because of the power score, and maybe people got bored of the scorpion a little bit. But the scorpion still has one of the most unique, well, the darling is now a thing, but the scorpion still has a pretty unique perk, and so combining that with the Nox makes them feel incredible. So this is my number 2 pick. My third pick, even though not my favorite, are the rippers. The rippers are incredibly good. In combination with the tormentor, which is the module that increases melee weapon damage, these are devastating, especially in Leviathan Clan Wars. I don't play Leviathan Clan Wars, but I know that they are annoying over there because the Leviathans actually targets the disc on the ground itself, and you can basically nugget a Leviathan by if they hit one of those discs in the ground. Really annoying weapon. In PvP, it's also very deadly, not as annoying as I would say a scorpion. My third pick came out of nowhere because this was initially on the bottom of the list, but with the recent changes, the Punishers are now incredibly strong, man. They are accurate, have crazy range, damage is alright, only the perk damage got reduced, but man, the Punishers are alright. Not satisfying for me to play personally, and the sound is kind of boring. Only the perk shot sounds really cool, like but overall, the Punishers are for me personally boring, but they hit incredibly hard. A lot of people are running them right now in PvP with the Sotori and 2 Punishers. Really fun. And in Clan Wars, the last thing I heard about them, people were running them in those protected builds or dog builds and just punishing people with those builds. Next to the Punishers, these, oh man, I got tortured by these, are the Nemesis. The Nemesis also got buffed, and they're so god dang incredibly strong, man. They're a little bit on the squishy side, so if you don't have an optimized build, you're gonna struggle a little bit. So running it with the fin wheel helps out a lot. Only 360 durability, not a whole lot, but these hit incredibly hard, especially with the first 8 volleys. Next up on my list, I wish I could put this higher on the list, but because of the limited firing angle and the way your build has to be, you need a specific build for the foons. And the next one on the list is the foons. The typhoons hit incredibly hard as well, and the perk makes it to where you deal extra damage to enemies' builds, their weapons. Such a fun weapon, so satisfying to use. Unfortunately, most effective builds with the foons are hovers, and hovers get bullied a lot by Triton builds and other kind of dogs, and once you lose like a few hovers, or for example the Scorpion Nox, they usually shoot one side of your build and you lose the whole side of the build, the left side for example, and all the hovers just go and you start leaning, and then you can become a lot less effective. It's it's an annoying thing with hover builds right now, but yeah, the foons are also very amazing. You know, now that I think about it, we haven't had a relic yet that is a single energy high energy usage relic, kind of like the Avalanche. I would love to see that. That would be interesting. It would be a lot cheaper for us to get it if we ever wanted it. After the foons, the Firebox also got a buff, and these 30% more damage is quite good. These are actually very strong, very strong. I was just never interested in them, but I know they're very strong. The thing is, if you use Firebox, at least for me in PvP, in Clan Wars you can go as high as you want in power score, but in PvP, as soon as you run 2 Firebox, your power score is gonna become incredibly high, and you cannot make a squishy build with Firebox, otherwise you're too squishy if you want to remain under like 10k power score. So the firebox are strong. They are strong, but for me, they're not super high on the list. Next up on the list, I haven't seen anybody talk about it, and I also did not test it after the buff, is the Devourers. They recently got an adjustment to where their burst is also affected by the reload speed of your build. So what I always hated about these is first is the reload. You shoot a burst, you cannot stop it or pause it. You do the whole burst and then you gotta reload, wait again, and then you can burst again. And also the burst was incredibly long. Now the way it works that if you have a super fast reload, your burst is also gonna be shorter. So instead of, I believe it was 6 seconds, the burst could be like 2 seconds with the optimal reload. So that's quite fast. So for me, it's a little bit low on the list yet, but we'll have to see if people can make effective builds with this. I haven't gotten the time yet to make something, but I will eventually. After the Devourer, for me on the list, it's not a meta weapon or something, but it can be effective, is the Flash Tesla emitter. You can run this in combination with 2 sparks and 1 flash, so that's also a nice thing about it. You don't need 3 flashes. You can just run 2 sparks and 1 flash and just have a great time. Or if you really want to flex, you can run triple flash. But what people would do in the past is they would run a flash to slow you down, and then they would pork you or just do anything else with you. I don't see the flash being that effective anymore at doing that, but if you can get a hold on someone, the flash is very powerful because this is the only Tesla emitter that slows down enemy builds and also increases the reload time of enemy builds and also increases the overheating rate. So a whole combination of things are happening when they get hit by the flash. After the flash, my all-time favorite relic in the world is next, and that is the Jormungandr. The Jormungandrs. They're so cool. After their perk rework, they were okay, but I do think they need to increase the fire rate and make it less violent when they shoot. There's a crap ton of recoil, and you miss the shots because of the perk or the burst. The burst is too long. It needs to be faster. But what really killed the Jormungandrs is they reduced the healing rate of the pellets of the perk. That is such a bad change for these because these became absolutely garbage. Well, they're not garbage. They're still effective, but the healing rate is so less now to where you don't deal as much damage anymore. It's kind of disappointing, I'll be honest. The only reason why the Jormungandrs are higher on the list than my next weapon, the Helicon, is because of the durability. Oh, actually, these got a durability buff recently. Okay, maybe I should swap those around because this one has more range. It heats up the targets. Actually, I'm gonna swap those two around. I'm gonna place the Jormungandrs after the Helicons. The Helicons were a little bit too squishy for my liking, but they got a buff recently, and also the perk activates a lot closer to closer to the barrel or when you shoot. The thing with the Helicon was the durability, man. The durability was really, really low, but the weapon itself is very powerful and very effective. Next up on my list, it's not a bad weapon, but it's very situational, and that is the Porcupines. I loved Porcupines, but what they did to where it now interacts with teammates as well and then explode and decreasing the projectile speed, they recently buffed it a little bit again, but that just kind of ruined the porks for me. They're still somewhat effective though, but there's a reason why you don't see them a whole lot in PvP. I'm not so sure about Clan Wars. They might be super good against our countering dogs, but I haven't heard anybody glazing the Porcupines for their effectiveness, unlike the Rippers. So that's why they're so low on the list. I'm already past 10 relics, but I'm basically doing the whole list right now. Next up on the list is the newest relic of all, the Destroyer. Now, I recently made a video comparing the Destroyer to the Retcher, and the Retcher outclasses it completely. It completely out DPSs it, and people even told me that if you use 2 harmonizers with the Retchers, it just completely outclasses this because this thing right now has pretty good range. The fire rate is also incredible. This thing has a slow fire rate, but in the end, it doesn't matter. This thing deals way more damage. And even though you can basically charge this perk indefinitely, it's not practical. At most, you'll get like 20 charges in a match, and then you'll deal slightly more damage than the Retcher, but for the price, just get 2 Retchers, man. And finally, the last weapon on the list. It's not that they're terrible, but there's better relics out there, and that is the Breaker Shotgun. Still quite effective. I'm actually surprised that this thing doesn't have more durability. I would say 550 for the Breaker would be respectable. Yeah, 515 or something like that would be a little bit better. The Breaker Shotgun is not a bad shotgun. It's alright. But the splits are better. The splits recently got nerfed, but they're still, I think the nerf wasn't significant. I think the splits will still outclass the breakers. And what I don't understand is why does the split almost have the same durability as the breakers? The breakers should have at least 550 durability. for a relic weapon. They're almost the same size, very small. The splits is just the splits just hits really hard, man. The breaker shotgun is an automatic shotgun. It's okay. it's okay, but it's not amazing. So those are all the relic weapons in that game. There's actually another relic, but that's a module, and that is of course the Odin generator. Personally, instead of getting my first relic weapon, I would go for this generator, and I know a lot of people do the same because having a little bit of extra energy is quite useful. But don't use the Odin generator because you need 1 extra energy because you want to run a chill radiator or a Tamir cooler. I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I add an Odin generator just to add this small module, which is only 65 power score, but then the Odin is like 3000 power score, almost an extra 1500 power score just for 1 small blue cooler. But again, if the power score doesn't make a difference at the higher echelons of the game, it doesn't really matter. Alright fellas, well there you have it. That was my Crossout relic weapon tier list. And let me know in the comment section down below if you disagree or have your own relic tier list. Again, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Oh yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you guys want to see more, you can do that by watching one of these 2 videos over here, and I'll see you there in a minute. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.